All right, in this special edition of Mr. Peterson Presents, I'm bringing to you part of the classwork section on graphing functions. So we're going to talk about questions 13, 14, and 15. So at any time, if you get what's going on, you can pause the video, try it for yourself, and then check the classwork. So for this problem right here, I'm given this function y equals 3x plus 2, and I'm given our fun little coordinate plane that I have to graph this function onto. And you might ask yourself, well, there's no x values. So what you can do is create your own chart here for x and y values. And you might say, well, what numbers do I pick for x? What I'm suggesting to do is do the easy ones that you can. And you only really need 2 points to create a line here. And so what I would do is I would select 0 and 1. So I'm just going to pick 2 x values. And what I'm going to do now is to figure out what y is. I'm doing 3 times 0 plus 2. When I do that, that's going to give me a y value of 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in my x value is 1. So I'm going to do 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 gives me 5. So right now I have two different order pairs. So I have 0, 2, and I have 1, 5. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these two order pairs and I'm going to graph them on my coordinate plane. So let's go ahead and graph 0, 2. So I start in the middle. I don't go anywhere left or right, but I'm going to go up 2, and I'm going to put that point. I'm going to use red here so you can see a little better. So I graphed my first point. So let's go ahead and graph my second point is 1, 5. So I start in the middle. I go to the right 1, and I go up 5 and put my point. And then using a straight edge. And so right now I'm using my handy dandy straight edges, my popsicle stick. I'm going to lay that down, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a line the best I can. And right now I graphed this function y equals 3x plus 2. I found 2 points to review. So I did an x value and two x values, figured out the two y values that correspond to them, and I graphed the line. So now let's go try this one. I have this function y equals x over 2 plus 2. And so just like we did in question number 13, we do not have any data here. We need some x values to start at. So for this one, my suggestion is to always start with 0. But for this one, since I'm dividing by 2, I'm going to make it easy on myself and do a multiple of 2, which is going to be 2. So I have my two x values. Let's find the corresponding y values. So if I fill in 0 for in my function, so I'm going to have y is equal to 0 over 2 plus 2. When I do all the math, 0 plus 2 is going to give me y is equal to 2. So my first order pair is 0, 2. And let's talk about what I'm going to do for 2. So I have y is equal to 2 over 2 plus 2. Order of operations tells me I'm going to do my division first. 2 divided by 2 is 1 plus 2. So y is going to be equal to 3. So my second order pair here is going to be 2, 3. And you guessed it, just like I did for question number 13, I'm going to go ahead and graph my ordered pairs. Let's go ahead and do it. So I have 0 and 2 is going to be right there, and then I have 2, 3. So I go to the left 2, or to the right 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to go up 3. So I got my 2 points here, and I have my handy dandy straight edge, and I'm going to go ahead and draw my line there. Put arrows on the end, signifying it's going both directions, forever and ever and ever. So what I've done is now I've successfully graphed this function, chose two x values, found the corresponding y values. I have 2 sets of order pairs, and then I graph it. So yeah, a couple steps you have to do for this one. And for just like we did in number 14, let's go ahead and figure out 15. So we have figure out x and y values. I have an x value, I'm going to use 0, and then I'm going to use a multiple of 3, and you guessed I'm going to keep it easy on myself and pick 3. So now let's go ahead and fill in x in our function here. So y equals x over 3 minus 1. Let's go ahead and fill in what x is. So I have 0 over 3 minus 1. So you guessed it, 0 minus 1, y is going to be equal to negative 1. So we're going to write down that order pair 0, comma, negative 1. And then I have x value 3, so let's go and rewrite this function. So I'm going to y equals 3 over 3 minus 1, and we do division first. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so y is equal to 1 minus 1, so y is going to be equal to 0 in this case. So I have an ordered pair of 3, comma, 0. So once you have these two ordered pairs, now we have 2 points that we can make a line with. So I have 0, comma, 0, negative 1. It's going to be graphed right here. And then I have 3, 0. 1, 2, 3, 0. I have 2 points. And you guessed it, now I can draw my line. So I'm going to go ahead and put my straight edge down. Draw my line. And ta-da, I've now graphed this function y equals x over 3 minus 1. I created my chart for x values to solve for my y values. I have 2 ordered pairs, and then I can graph it.